Here is a cool breeze or warm draft 16-inch oscillating 3-speed fan with lots of dirt. This is a very important fan in my collection because there was one of these in my 4th grade classroom. I have been searching for one of these for over a decade, and I have had, up until a few months ago, absolutely zero success. Not even a lead. I have never seen one of these since the 4th grade. Never saw one out in the wild. Never saw a video of one. In fact, I don't think so that I ever even found a picture of it. There's a 12-inch model that's identical to this, just in 12 inches, and that one seems to be fairly common, but I cannot find, previously to this surfacing, I could not find any trace of existence of that 16-inch model. But I knew it existed because I remember this fan very, very vividly. I remember it being very large at the time. Of course, because I was younger, it seemed bigger. So I knew that it was not a 12 and it had to be a 16. And so the letter H actually found this for me over the last couple of months. And because him and I both look out for stuff for each other at different sales, because we live in different areas, so we can frequent different thrift stores. And I couldn't believe it when he showed me a picture of this and told me that he found it. Because I remember trying to find a picture to show him, and I just couldn't find one. So this was in my 4th grade classroom, and I remember it so well, which is odd because I don't have a whole lot of memories from elementary school. Like 1st grade, 2nd grade, total wash. Couldn't tell you anything that happened those years. 3rd grade I remember little bits and pieces of. 4th grade I remember the school year, and I remember certain things that had happened that year. 5th grade I remember, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th total wash. Couldn't tell you anything that happened those years. 9th I kind of remember, and 10th, 11th, and 12th I remember very well. Those are really good times. But anyway, so this fan was in my 4th grade classroom. I just went and picked this up from him recently, and I just couldn't believe it when I saw it for the first time in almost 20 years, because that would have been in around 2004 that I was in 4th grade. So let's see, do we have any kind of date code on this thing? We have an informations tag. It says deluxe desk fan. Like they all say, what the heck is the basic one? 46 watts, 0.4 amps. It is type EB24616, style P, and doesn't even seem to have a model number. Made in Taiwan. Which, for whatever it's worth, the stuff made in Taiwan does seem to be better than stuff made in China, even though I know it's Republic of China. The motors made in Taiwan, even with ceiling fans as well, they do seem to be considerably better. So this is a pretty nasty fan. It's junk all over the base. The blades have got some junk on it. There's grossness on the badge. It's absolutely filthy, but this looks like one of those ones that's going to clean up really good. So this should make a really nice clean and service project. It doesn't appear to be very high hours. There's not much of any dust to speak of in there. The amount of dust in that motor is consistent with the amount of dust on the blades. And I'm very curious if this is going to run or not, because I remember the one in school, on occasion, when we'd start it up in the morning, it would run very slowly, and it would take several minutes before it would actually get to full speed because the bearings were stiff. And that was back in 2004, so the thing wasn't even that old yet. Unfortunately, Cool Breeze, from my experience, seems to be notorious for rather poor quality bearings that do that. The cord is just abysmal, and it's so filthy. So we're going to have to clean that up. We'll have to take a wire brush to the prongs, clean those up. That's real bad. And I almost don't even want to put that into my outlet here. You know what? I wonder if these fans are older than I thought, because this is not a polarized plug. I really didn't think that these would go much past like the late 90s, but maybe this is earlier 90s. Because by the late 90s, most everything was polarized. Hopefully we'll find some kind of a date code somewhere in there, and perhaps on a motor or on a capacitor or whatever. Well, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. We are testing at 119.3 the volts. 0.4 amps is kind of low power for a 16-inch model, because most of the 12-inch models are 0.35, and not a big difference between 0.35 and 0.4, but we'll see. I don't recall it being very powerful at all, so that kind of makes sense. Let's begin on the low. Well, if that doesn't scream cheap fan, I don't know what does. Is that all from the bearings? Wow. Oh, we know the oscillation works. I'm not going to get any more wind noise in the video. I'm guessing that's all wind. That's all the bearings rattling around. It's moving a lot more air than I expected. It's actually moving a decent amount of air. It's kind of more of a gentle breeze, but it is traveling a reasonable amount. I don't want to run this for too long if it's like that. That's 0.27 amps, 29.7 the watts, the power factor is 0.91. In regards to the balance, it's not bad. The medium. That is 0.3 amps, 34.6 the watts with a power factor of 0.94 the power factor. Not a big difference in the speeds. So the low is reasonable, but then the medium becomes kind of disappointing. Actually got going pretty good on high. On high it is 0.35 the amps, 42.2 the watts, with a power factor of 0.99 the power factor. 0.35 is pretty good for a 16-inch in terms of efficiency. I think the old Lasco Galaxy ones were 0.9, but those were way more powerful than this is. It's not as underwhelming as I expected. It's actually not too shabby for what it is. It doesn't come close to the old Lasco Galaxy ones, but for a cheap product of this era, it's not bad. I don't know what the actual OEM of this thing was. I wonder if it was that Aries brand. Or was that just another name? I don't remember. I think that there's, I don't know. Forget it. That's could be totally wrong. I can feel decent air moving all the way across the road. Not bad for the power being drawn at all. Of course, in a big classroom, something like this is totally useless. Now this was set up at the front by the chalkboard. That's what we had back then. There was still chalkboard, and it was on oscillation mode. And I mean, if you was in the front right corner of the room, like the first row, maybe the first 2 or 3 desks in the front row, you might have felt it. That was about it. I mean, it was just totally useless. That almost sounds like the blade is loose on the shaft. Yeah, I'm not convinced that's bearings. That's got kind of a plasticky sound to it. That's not bearings. In fact, ironically, the bearings seem to be in excellent condition. That's kind of funny. Well, there it is. Quite a sight to see 20 years later.